What is up, players? It's War Boss Tay back up in this mug. Welcome to my showcase video for the Howling Banshees that I'm doing, painting them up in Ulthway colors. Click the link down below to take you to my blog page where I go a little bit more into the mentality of painting something like fine cast, or just working with a model or a group of models that you're just not that enthused about right off the bat. But hey, look, I'm really pleased with how they ended up. It doesn't matter how they came in the box, how they got to me. I feel like I did a really good job painting them the way the client specified. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my colors and my color scheme. And I'm actually going to be doing a photo tutorial on my blog with some pictures of how I did them. So I'll let you know when that is up, and you can follow me there. But for now, yeah, head on over there and you can read more of my ramblings on how they went, as well as if you're thinking of purchasing some Howling Banshees for your own collection, you can use my Amazon affiliate link, which I've put up there. So the main issue with the Howling Banshees for me was working past the fine cast, and there were a lot of little bits of connective flash resin pieces that were everywhere on the model and on the models, and there were bent pistols, there were bent swords. So I tried to straighten them up as much as possible. If you're working with resin, you want to make sure that you heat up some water, some hot water, dip your model in, and carefully rebend those bent staff blades and swords and things that should be straight but on fine cast. And sometimes Forge World, not so much that I've seen lately though. They tend to get bent. So my color scheme, like I said, was going to be that traditional Howling Banshee bone colored armor, but because they're Ulthway, we needed to also pop up that black. And so what I needed to do was figure out how can I incorporate both of those colors onto the model, still making the model predominantly bone colored because that's what their armor is, but also giving it a little bit of color. So here you can see I'm lining up all 12 of my Howling Banshees. You've got your two Exarchs in there with the turquoise headbands, and the rest of them all on their bases, their wasteland bases. I'm really pleased with the way that they turned out, and I think the balance of the colors, the color composition came together really nicely, and yeah, I'm really pleased with the finished product because they still look unified, but they all have slightly different poses. The things that unify them, of course, are the colors, the similar bone colored armor, and the gemstones, which I want to talk about a little bit. All of the gemstones that are on their person, I've painted in blue. So you can see on their waists, on their necks, and on their the bands around their right biceps, I've painted in blue. And anything that is on a piece of equipment, like the pouches or their pistols or their anything that is kind of put on top of them or that they're using as equipment, I've painted in green. Now the thing is, you might have seen in an earlier video I had lost my moot green, which is my favorite yellow-green color to paint as a highlight for War Boss Tay green. So instead I decided to go with Scarsnake green, which is a more muted skin tone for goblins, and it still turned out pretty well. I think it's not as bright, it's not as glaring as the moot green will be, but if you take a look at all the green gemstones, they still look really nice, and they blend in, or they match the rest of the colors just as well. I've decided to do the Exarch handles on their big spears. I decided to do that with Screamer Pink, and then I just did some Rakarth Flesh mixed with the Screamer Pink as a highlight. I didn't want to go too crazy with the handles, the wraps for their weapons, but I did want to make it a separate color that you don't see anywhere else on the 12 models. That to me makes it more interesting to look at. A couple years back, I did an Aeldari Howling Banshee commission where I painted every single one of the gemstones on the armor, and you see that the Exarch there has 3 on her shoulder blade. Most of them have little gemstone like protrusions all over their armor, and this time I decided I'm going to tone it down. I looked at the box art, and even Games Workshop doesn't paint all the little half gemstone protrusions all over their models, so I decided I'm just going to paint what's on the box, paint it exactly like Games Workshop standards, but I'm going to use Ulthway colors. So like I said, the way I did that was I painted a lot of the armor parts in Abaddon black. I went back over and I painted them in black, and then I rebuilt those bone colors with Rakarth flesh. But you can see there are some places like the gloves, the gauntlets, the leg armor that's wrapped around the shin, as well as their boots, that normally you'd see them, like if you look on the Howling Banshee box cover, you would see them in bone colors, but I decided to do them in black because that makes the black armor a little bit more predominant. It makes those Ulthway colors a little bit more obvious and apparent when you're looking at the model. Some things I did also want to do was I didn't want to make the pouches look too distracting, so I didn't give them a very bright, vibrant brown color. I went with very simple Steel Legion drab, and when I washed the armor with Seraphim Sepia, I went over the pouches with Agrax Earthshade. That tones it down a lot. So if you look at the model, if you hold it up to you, you can see it's a nice, almost like milk chocolatey brown, but it's not that bright red brown of Mournfang brown, and it's not really red like the Tuskgore fur or whatever, that other reddish brown that I like to use sometimes. The gold is basically Retributor armor painted on, hand brushed, and I only used that in a couple of places. The bars for the pistols, the I guess sword hilts for the swords, and all of their gems that are on their person, like the 3 on their waistbands, the gemstone on their torso, like right on their collarbone. I painted them in Retributor armor, and then I went back over the center with Abaddon black. So that will really, really help you. If you go out of order, it's really easy to get some of the colors messed up. Like if you painted the entire gemstone area black and then tried to line the actual jewelry housing in Retributor armor, you can see they're so small that they would be kind of hard to do. But paint your here's a little War Boss Tay quick tip: paint your entire jewelry housing in Retributor armor, and then go back over the raised oval part in black. That way you'll have your gold armor of the jewelry nice and set, and you don't have to worry about going back and lining it in and really having to make sure it's precisely in the area. You're just covering up the area you did before with the new paint. And any gemstones you do, here's another hot tip: finish it with gloss varnish. Even if you don't do too many layers of highlights, what that gloss varnish is going to do is give you a really beautiful looking glossy finish, especially because the areas you're coloring with that gloss art coat varnish are oval. When you pick up your model and you turn it, the combined effect of highlighting with progressively lighter colors and then using that gloss varnish is going to create a beautiful optical illusion of a glimmering, shining gemstone. All right, that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you're all doing well out there. I'm so happy you're posting and filming and painting, and everybody's doing great work, so keep it up. Stay motivated, even if you're not posting as much, or even if you're just kind of watching and not really commenting and just working on your own hobby. Just have a great time. And like I said, if you would be interested in reading some of my jumbled up thoughts, I'm practicing my writing skills over at my blog. You can follow the link below. And if you're interested in whatever I'm working on in my YouTube videos, I usually post an affiliate link where you can get the product for your own personal collection. And that really also helps me out as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next one. Laters!